Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome to something special that I've got cooked up for you guys. Today is not going to be a normal day. It's not going to be Madden 24, even though I know everybody loves a good Madden 24 video. I just came out with the Madden 24 draft-only rebuild. I enjoyed that, and I'm probably going to do some more stuff similar to that. But today we are taking a whole different direction. You guys may know that probably, I think, last year on the channel, I think it might have been last year. It's been an on and off process for like 2.5 years now, 3 years. I had been doing a series called the Notre Dame All-American Dynasty on NCAA 14. Well, I kind of just like, in the spirit of on and off, I started it, stopped it, waited a while, started it back up again, stopped it again, and now we're here. This isn't the Notre Dame All-American Dynasty, don't mistake it, but it is NCAA Football 14 College Football Revamped. I am playing it back again, and today we are going to be, I don't know if starting something new is the right words, because we'll see how this does. If it does really well, we'll continue to make some more videos on it, and we'll continue to have some fun. But what I was going to do is, I watched college football this past weekend, this past Saturday, and a lot of you guys may have missed it, but you've probably seen it by now since it is a little bit into the actual next week. You guys have probably seen the Miami Hurricanes' epic collapse against Georgia Tech on Saturday night, where all they had to do was kneel the football and walk away with the victory. But instead, for some reason, Mario Cristobal decides to call a run play. The running back runs the ball, as you do, fumbles it, Georgia Tech recovers, goes down the field in like 27 seconds or something like that, and scores the game-winning touchdown. Miami loses. It's an epic collapse. Absolutely epic collapse of epic proportions. So what I thought was, Miami's had their time in the late 90s, the mid to late 90s, and then the early 2000s, where their dynasty kind of got exploded by Go Bucks, the Ohio State Buckeyes, 2002 national champions, baby. Love to see it. Craig Kensel, the Cowboy. Love it. So that Ohio State team is special to me. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to really appreciate it at the time. I was only like 1.5 years old at the time, so I didn't obviously understand it at the time, but now I've grown and I understand the significance of that championship and that whole season as a whole, where the offense wasn't really moving and the defense really won that championship for him. And Craig Krenzel did his job in that game, and he did his job that entire season. But we're not talking about the Buckeyes here. We're talking about the team they beat, the Miami Hurricanes, who in that dynasty era, they had guys like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Sean Taylor and Vince Wilfork and so many other players. I'm not even naming half of them because I'm forgetting them. They had so many, and probably even Ken Dorsey at that point. They had so many NFL Hall of Famers and NFL Pro Bowlers and NFL All-Pro players and all these guys and college football Hall of Famers and all this stuff. This Miami dynasty in the 90s, 2000s era might have gone down and might go down as one of the greatest dynasties of all college football. The players that they were getting at that time was unprecedented. And then they come into Ohio State, or they lose to Ohio State. It's great. So a lot of people, and they really haven't been back. A lot of people in college football use the term, they're back. They use it with Texas a lot, with USC, with Notre Dame, with Miami, with a lot of these teams that were good back in the day, kind of fell off a little bit, and then they use it when, they had a good season or two, and now they're back. They're back on top. They're back to what they were. Miami has been back for 15 years. They struggle. For some reason, they don't they can't get the recruits. They can't live up to the hype. I don't know what it is. But in this quote-unquote series, we are going to try to make sure that Miami is officially back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself into a head coaching spot. We're going to fire Mario Cristobal because he honestly has a good right to be fired after that horrendous call that he made in that game, that loss against Georgia Tech on Saturday. So we're going to fire Mario Cristobal. I know he's only been there for like 2 seasons or whatever. Maybe this is his 3rd season. I have no idea. But we're going to get him out of there, kick him right out, go back to wherever he came from. I think he was in Oregon. I don't remember where he was at. But kick him out, let him go. We're going to jump in, and we are going to take over Miami, and we are going to try to get Miami officially back. Now, I could turn this into a quote-unquote road to glory type of series where I go from team to team, rebuilding them over a few seasons and try to win as many national championships as possible. And then once I win a national championship with that said team, then you get a new coaching job, you go and try to rebuild another team. That could be a fun little spin-off of this. But right now, this is just about Miami. We're trying to get them back. Now, I do want to mention this roster is last year's roster. So you may see some familiar names like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. All of those players from last year's teams in college football are in this roster. I couldn't, when I got the roster, I couldn't find the one from this year. I don't know if it's not out yet or if I just missed it. I don't know. But the one that I found was from last year, so that's what we're going to rock with. So this Miami team has Tyler Van Dyke on the team as the quarterback. I think he still is the quarterback in real life, but he's on the team as the quarterback. There's might be, if you're a Miami fan, you might see some players that aren't on the team this year that were on the team last year. That's why, because it's last year's roster. So I think all of that build-up has been done. I've summarized everything. I've told you guys what's happening. Let's jump into the game and try to help Miami get officially back. So here we are. I've created my head coach. Obviously, we are the Juice. We're going to be rocking the sweater vest because in the spirit of being the Miami head coach, you might as well rock the sweater vest because of the man that took you down and ended the dynasty, Mr. Jim Tressel. Gotta love him. Twitters and twatters, baby. So we are going to be rocking a sweater vest probably for our entire time here in this, whatever this ends up being. Obviously, alma mater is Ohio State, even though I personally didn't go to Ohio State. I am a fan of Ohio State. So this is what we're rocking with. You guys see it right here. Offensive style, or I just said that twice. Offensive style is Ohio State. I didn't change anything here. This is just the base stuff that they've given me. So if you're curious, that's what we have. We're going to continue on. We are going to actually probably do some custom conferences. I probably should have done this before I loaded up the episode or loaded up the video. But we are probably going to adjust the conferences to make them look like what they are going to look like in the future. So let me just Google really quickly the conference realignment, and I'll go and do that, and then I'll catch back up with you guys when I've got that all done. Okay, so I've gotten the conferences good enough, I guess. There's too many conferences, or too many teams moving to one certain conference, and in this game, you can only add a certain amount of teams per conference. So I added the main teams. Unfortunately for Rutgers and Maryland, they didn't make the cut for the Big Ten because I added Oregon, I added UCLA, I added Washington, USC. So those teams got to be in the Big Ten. Rutgers and Maryland, even though they have been in longer, they didn't make the cut, unfortunately. It's not my fault. I also adjusted the ACC, so Maryland is in the ACC now. But we've got teams like Cal, Louisville. This is the conference that we're going to be playing against because we're obviously going to be taking over Miami. So we got to go up against new teams like Cal and Louisville and who else is in here? Obviously Maryland's new in the conference, but I think that's the only ones that I changed in this one. And then if we go to the Big 12, we've added BYU, Cincinnati, not Kansas, UCF, Colorado, Houston, Utah, bunch of new teams in the Big 12. We've got, obviously, the Big 10 we talked about. Independence, Notre Dame is still an independent, even though they probably are going to join either the ACC or the Big 10. Pac-12 has been completely just demolished. I had to add San Diego State and San Jose State from the MWC, what's it called? The Midwest Conference? I forget what it's called. Mountain West. I had to take those guys from there just so that we could fill up a conference. You need to have a certain amount of teams and I think you have to have 4 minimum teams in a conference. So I had to take those 2 teams because I feel like they could fit in the Pac-12. But this conference has been absolutely demolished because everybody's leaving it because the Pac-12 is probably not going to exist pretty much for very much longer. And then the SEC, I added Texas and Oklahoma. So that's a huge conference now, absolutely massive. Those are the big changes that we made. That's going to be all that I do there. That took a decent amount of time, actually. We're going to make sure that we got generated names off. And I'm going to say this is going to be called... I don't want to call it... I was going to call it Miami is Back, but I could take this and like do a career out of it and stuff. I don't know. I'll leave it open-ended. So I'm just going to put this as Juice, as the save file. There we go. I'm just going to make that Juice. We don't need to do the BCS Bowl tie-ins. Begin the Dynasty. We're ready to go officially. Every conference is okay. Every conference is good enough. We are going to be taking over in the ACC Miami. They're a 4-star program. No, they're not a 4-star program. They're a 5-star program. I forgot this goes up to 6 stars. Where they're a 5-star program. We are going to be the new head coach. Forget about Mario Cristobal. And look at these seasons. We can go and scroll back here and talk about when they were good. I mean, look at these seasons that they had in the 2000s and the 90s and stuff when they were absolutely dominant. I mean, the 80s and 90s and 2000s when their dynasty was a thing, it is the heyday. And obviously we get to good old-fashioned Ohio State 2002 national champions. Love to see it. But that's the heyday, like the late 80s up until like the 2000s. I didn't even give it credit. I said the 90s, 2000s. It was even in the 80s they were doing stuff like that. So now we've signed a 7-year contract to try to rebuild this team because they've had 7-5, 6-6, 7-5, 7-6, 5-7s. They'd have a 9-4 sprinkled in there, but they're just not that good overall. And even the years that are not counted in here because this game is technically in 2013, all these years they didn't play well either in the 2010s. So we are taking over this team when they're kind of in a bad spot. And we are now the head coach of Miami, and we have 1 upgrade point available, and I'm going to probably use it on recruiting because recruiting is going to be very, very big. So we are going to use it on probably scouting just to get that a little bit better. So we'll make sure that's good. Okay, so we can set up a recruiting board. We can do red shirts, depth charts. There's not going to be any gameplay in this episode. This is just going to be setting up the roster, setting up the dynasty, getting everything ready, and figuring out what we got. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We're not going to be creating any prospects this first season. I don't want to artificially boost anything, so we're just going to go in here. We're going to go to the Spark 100 first because we're Miami, so we should be, in theory, be able to get some of these really, really good players. And we're just going to look at some of these best players available, although we could look at like our lock percentage and see if there's anybody that's super high. We have 19% on a couple of these guys, and we could just go to the targeted list and see who's pretty much targeted, or the interest list, I guess you could say. If we go to the interest list and we scout here, we have a 5-star wide receiver, Ross Holmes, who is interested in us, so we're going to put him on the board. We also have David Bell, coach, the manager for the Cincinnati Reds. He is also interested. He's a 4-star running back. We got a tight end. I'm going to put all these guys that are interested on the board, the top 35 board. And then we're going to go to star caliber rating, and we're just going to put some of the top guys on here. Just the top few guys. A D tackle, definitely. The number 1 wide receiver, definitely want to have him on here. The number 1 running back. Got to get a couple good athletes in there. Number 1 middle linebacker. The number 1 corner. We, in theory, should be getting players like this of this caliber because we are a program like Miami. So we should, in theory, be getting these guys. We're going to be definitely putting some of these guys on the board. Definitely a lot of 5 stars, a lot of athletes, so we can move them around, be versatile and that stuff. And then I'm going to I'll probably put about 25 of the top 100 on the board, and then we can go and talk about the rest of the players around all prospects. So if we go to our interest level in all prospects, I mean, look at all these guys. We got a ton of 4 stars, a lot of 3 stars. So this is with the rest of the last 10 guys we're going to add. We're going to add a center in here. We're going to add an outside linebacker, a tackle, another athlete, a safety, another corner. A lot of corners interested in Miami. Let's see, what else can we add in here? Probably a guard, maybe, but that guard's pretty low down the board. I don't want to focus on too many lower end guys, not to be disrespectful. We'll definitely put you on the board. We got all the four-star guys on there. Another tackle, and then we'll put another D end on there. So that is, and we'll put an outside linebacker on there. Perfect. So that is all 35 guys on the board. A little mixture of the Spark 100 and the all prospects, all recruiting class guys. Okay, so we definitely want to focus on a quarterback because we have Tyler Van Dyke, but he is a junior, so he could be leaving after the season if we have a good year. So definitely want to focus on a quarterback. We are not even ranked in the #1 quarterback, Greg Watson. He doesn't even have us on our on his board, but maybe we can jump our way in there, weasel our way in. We have a couple running backs. We are in the lead for the #8 running back, David Bell, but we're not even on the board for Charles Baldwin. I'll scout David Bell. He could be something good. We'll see what he's got. He's actually 73 instead of a 74. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Are we going to find any gems in the waiting? Definitely want to know about Ross Holmes, Earl Brooks. He's a little bit bad too. Some of these guys aren't producing the diamonds or the gems or whatever they are. Learn a little bit about the tackles, learn about the guard. He actually goes up. Learn about the centers slightly. Learn about the D ends. He goes up. The D tackle, outside linebacker. There we go. Found a good one there. We have 250 points left. 200 points spending on a corner. There we go. Another safety, and then I have 50 points left. I'll probably spend it on this other middle linebacker. He's a 79. So we didn't find anybody too special in that, but that's okay. That is all right, all right, all right. And I do want to, I keep seeing that there's upgrades available in there, so I'm just going to go and do those right now. So let's do the defensive coordinator and make it recharge. We'll do that one. And then Shannon Dawson for offensive coordinator. We want to do up-tempo. I think that's the offense we want to try to run. So we're going to do that. Perfect there. Now we've got redshirt players. I don't know if there's anybody that needs to be redshirted. We're not going to redshirt Tyler Van Dyke because he's our starter, and he's already been redshirted. So we don't need to do that. We do have a couple interesting players down here on the lower end of the depth chart. We've got a sophomore in Ja'Cory Brown. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And then we have a true freshman who is Emory Williams. 6'5", 220 from Pensacola. He's got not great speed. What's his actual throw power and stuff look like? He's got himself 82 throw power and 76 throw accuracy. He could end up being something. Maybe we redshirt him and we just run a 2-quarterback system or a 2-quarterback depth chart for year #1. Because what are the odds that Tyler Van Dyke really gets injured? I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to redshirt Emory Williams, and then we'll just have Ja'Cory Brown be our backup, barring any injuries from Tyler Van Dyke. And Ja'Cory Brown has some good speed. He's got some good accuracies, or he's got some, we looked at his throw power and stuff. He's got good agility and acceleration. He could be a good player for us as a backup. Running backs, I mean, Mark Fletcher is an All-American, but he's not going to play because we have a ton of depth behind him. So we're just going to redshirt him just for depth reasons alone. Same thing with Ray Joseph. I know he's got 93 speed, but we have a lot of guys ahead of him, including Tyler Harrell, who's 97 speed. So, I mean, we've got a lot of people ahead of him, and he's just not going to get playtime. So I don't want to waste a year of his college career when he's just going to be sitting the bench. Same thing with Riley Williams. Guys like that are just not going to get playtime. Samson Okunlolo? I don't know how to pronounce Okunlolo. I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce your name, my sir. Frankie Tinilau. We're going to, we have 3 true freshman guards. Very interesting. Okay. We're going to keep everybody here. We're going to redshirt Collins. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And then we'll probably redshirt Ruben. Should we redshirt Ruben Bain? No, we'll keep Ruben Bain as a true freshman. Maybe he can make some impact plays. Jaden Wayne will get redshirted. Josh Horton can get redshirted. We have no left outside linebackers, so we should probably keep all of our Actually, we have a ton of depth here. Okay, so we don't have to keep. Bobby Washington will get redshirted. Even Malik Bryant will get redshirted, and Raul Aguirre Jr. can get redshirted. So we have a lot of depth at right outside linebacker. So one of these guys can move over and play left outside linebacker. That's not a big problem there. We have a couple good corner. We have a lot of depth at corner, so I'm not worried about that at all. We probably even have too many guys. We could probably redshirt both of these, Damari Brown and Robert Stafford, because we have good depth at corner. And then we've got free safeties, strong safeties. Caleb Spencer's going to get redshirted. We do have our best player on the team, Cameron Kinchins, so he's going to be hopefully a stud for us. And then kicker, punter, we're not going to redshirt. So those are the guys, all the guys that we're going to redshirt for this season, season 1. The depth chart, obviously Tyler Van Dyke is going to be our guy. But our third string quarterback, if we do need it, I want it to be Tyler Harrell, because he's got that 97 speed. So if we need to run like some sort of like weird wildcat formation, if somehow both of these guys got hurt, then we could just run around with Tyler Harrell. So that's how that's going to work. Running back's fine. Wide receivers, we got good depth at wide receiver. I like what we're working with here. And we don't even have Tyler Harrell in there, so definitely want to have him in there. He's probably our third string receiver, actually, now that I look at it. Because we have Ladson, we have Brashad Smith. We got some good depth at receiver. I like what we got. And we've got Xavier Restrepo. I apologize if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong. I'm just stupid. And we've got Cam McCormick. He probably deserves to be up higher than Arroyo. Not Arroyo. Who was that? Skinner is who I'm looking for. Skinner. Let's switch that. He probably deserves, since he's a senior, he probably deserves to be a little bit higher. Left tackle is fine with Zion Nelson. Obviously in the league now in real life. Left guard, we're going to start Javier Cohen. Unless he's starting at right guard, is he? No, it doesn't look like he is. So he's going to start. Obviously, he's the higher overall. I don't know why they didn't have him start in the first place. Center is going to be Matt Lee. Right guard is going to be Inez Cooper. I don't have a problem with that. And then his backup will be Kinsler the fourth. Right tackle can be, yeah, Francis is fine. Left end, I'm fine with having Akeem Mizador. Man, I am butchering some of these names. I am butchering these names. Don't want Bain to be the starter, so we'll switch that back. Harvey's now starting at right end. Left end, or D tackle, I mean. Why do we have a guard playing D tackle? What is this lineup? Oops, I didn't mean to switch that. Taylor, and I need Harrison. And then I need Dean. Where's Dean at? There's Dean. Then I need Moten. Moten. And then is there another D tackle? Taylor, Dean, you, Horton, Moten. And then we'll just put like Wayne in there or something. Oh no, can't do that. Kelly? There we go. Perfect. And then I'll switch Dean with you. And that'll be how that goes. I don't know why they had a right guard starting at D tackle. Or in the depth of D tackle. It looks like they want... is it Byzantine? Is that Byzantine? I don't know how to pronounce that. Wesley. He's going to start at left outside linebacker. I don't hate that. Corey Flagg Jr. is going to be the starting middle line. Actually, we should probably have Francis be the starting middle linebacker. So that we can have... We could probably have Flagg play starting left outside linebacker. That could be something. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Well, I guess I did. So we should have him play left outside linebacker. And then have oh, it's Francisco, not Francis. I apologize. Francisco. Right outside linebacker, Keontra Smith. I'm fine with that. We should have another... Actually, no, I want KJ Cole. Man, I cannot read. KJ Cloyd. God, I'm stupid. I apologize for mispronouncing all these names and just misreading these names. Corners looking okay. We'll change this to have Davis go there. Perfect. Safety's fine. Strong safety's fine. Kicker's fine. Punter's probably fine. Kick returner, we've got 88 speed. I want Harrell. He seems to be our fastest guy, so I want Harrell to be running back kicks, and I want Harrell to be running back punts as well. So bada bing, bada boom. There we go. And then we got kickoff specialist fine. Long snapper's fine. Okay, so that's the depth chart all figured out. Perfectly done. Custom schedules. We're in the ACC now, boys. Well, we've always been in the ACC, but we got updated ACC schedules. So it looks like our conference games, we're going to be playing Clemson in the third week of the season, which is insane. That's a big game. Then you got Georgia Tech, you got North Carolina, Louisville, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Duke, Virginia, Pittsburgh. These are going to be some real big games. These are going to be some real big games. Okay. All right, I can handle this. I can definitely handle. And let me just check really quickly. Miami doesn't have any big rivalries, do they, that I'm not seeing on here? I apologize. I'm not a big Miami fan, so I don't know their actual rivalry game like I would like Ohio State, Michigan. Miami Hurricanes biggest rival. Florida State Miami game is an honorable tradition. Okay, we are playing Florida State. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that that game is the biggest rivalry game that they have is scheduled, because you never know with the conference realignment thing that I did. Maybe it would have changed it for some reason, but we are playing Florida State. Perfect. Good. And then we've got obviously ACC championship game in week 15. So they have us giving 2 bye weeks. We have one again in week 2 and then one in week 7. I think, can I change this? Okay, so I can't. I have to have 2 bye weeks. That's unfortunate. But we don't need to play FCS Southeast. So we could change this to a bye week, an open week, and then have this be another team. We could play number 4 Alabama. That could be pretty fun. Nice test. We could go down to Alabama. That'd be fun. We could go to LSU. We could take on Meat Chicken. Notre Dame. There's some interesting top 25 matchups we could throw in here. We could take on new SEC team Texas. Utah, Washington. Let's see. I don't want to do a cakewalk, but I also don't want to schedule like the greatest team ever or something like that. So I think we should go, if we could find something in the middle, like a top 20 team, I'd be fine with that. Like Ole Miss would be fine. I don't hate scheduling that, or Oregon State. A nice little top 25 matchup. Let's schedule Oregon State. We'll go to Oregon State in week 2. That'll be a nice matchup. Maybe we can get ranked if we beat them. Then we'll have an open week. We'll play USF and Georgia Tech. And then we'll have another open week because I can't change it. And then we'll get into real conference action. So that'll be our schedule. Let me just make sure that the away games are where I want them to be. So we'll open at home against Florida Atlantic, go on the road to Oregon State, come back home against Clemson for the first conference game, bye week at USF, at home against Georgia Tech, and then bye week, and then so we don't have a lot of home games actually in the beginning of the season. Maybe we need to have home against UC. I don't think Miami would go down to USF. I know that they're in Florida, but I don't think that I think they would have USF come up to Miami, or yeah, probably, right? Because they're South Florida. I know Miami is the bottom of Florida. I don't know where USF is in like the terms of where Miami would be. So we've got 1 home game, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have an odd number of, okay, so we do need to probably have an away game. So that makes it 6 and 6. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. All right. That's where we'll just have to go down to USF. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. That's going to be our schedule for season 1. Learn it, live it, love it. And we can pretty much start the season right now. We've got the depth chart figured out. We've got the recruiting figured out. We've got the red shirts all figured out. Custom schedules all done. Everything's ready to go. I think it's time to start the season. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. All right. Filling up the recruiting boards with everybody else. I'm excited for this first season to try to get Miami back off the schneid. Get them back off the schneid. Okay, so it's a happy new year, everybody. We're taking on Florida Atlantic. We got 5,000 recruiting points we can use. And I'll probably do that at the start of next episode. Top stories. Ohio State's taking on Buffalo. We've got ourselves Alabama. Nobody wants to go down to Tuscaloosa. I definitely don't. The Heisman Watch. We've got Ernest Cronover. Okay. J.C. Latham. Sonny Styles. Jawar Jordan. And Chris Carter from Oregon. Hold on. Chris Carter from Oregon. I might have made a mistake here. Whatever. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. that is going to do it, though, for this first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let me know if you want to see more NCAA football, college football revamped on the channel, because we can continue doing this. We can also do a little bit of a Road to Glory, maybe take on Deion Sanders in Colorado. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of good college football teams out there in the world, so we can try to figure out what we want to do. But let me know if you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.